Recipe time. Starting with equipment, you will need 2 big bowls, 1 small bowl for each cake. I have here 2 big bowls, 1 small bowl for each of 2 cakes, or 2 batches. I'm not actually doing cakes this time. This is meant to be 2 18cm cakes or 1 22cm cake. I'm going to try to make muffins instead. Cupcakes or miniature cakes, whatever you want to call them. You will also need 1 sharp knife with a lovely sharp edge. In this case it's a lovely sharp edge with a hairline crack in it that formed within within 2 weeks of me getting that knife, but it's been fine. It's a pointless knife, but that doesn't mean it's pointless. You'll need a whisk for the egg whites. This is an annoying part, and this thing is not easy to clean. Egg is a sticky mess, but hey. This may help. You don't really need it. This is a silicone rubber spoon. It's bendy, which means when you shove it into the bowl to scrape stuff out, it actually bends to fit the bowl and leaves less in the bowl. You don't really need that. It might help. You will need a phenomenal quantity of chocolate. The recipe also calls for sugar, but this stuff contains quite a bit of sugar. It's there somewhere. Right next to this, Morrison's own brand. Oh no, it must be cheap stuff, right? Well, right next to this was the Dr. Oetker cooking chocolate, which says sugar, dried whole milk powder, then cocoa butter, and it's 54% sugar by weight, whereas this is 11%. I think. Or was I looking in the wrong column? Oh no. I was looking in the wrong column, this is 59%. Oops. But anyway, not much difference, so I got that stuff because it's half the price, and quite possibly contains more actual cocoa than the Dr. Oetker stuff. They ran out of that, so I got 1 slab of this. I'm making 2 cakes, and yes, I really do need this much chocolate. You will also need butter. Notice this butter now comes in 250 gram rather than half pound packs. And very helpfully has 50, 100, 150 and 200 gram markings on the wrapper, but that's not helpful if the wrapper isn't properly centered. No way is the little amount left of the 50 equal to the huge amount right of the 200. So, you're going to need a weighing scale. And I really should have bought a 5-bedroom mansion to have a big enough a big enough kitchen to actually show all this stuff. If you can weigh butter in the weighing scale pan. If you do, it's likely to stick. If you are going to need flour. Flour. There is a white powder. As you can see, there is white powder right there. That is flour. And well, it's apparently got damp and got stuck. If you weigh the flour first, then weigh the butter on top of the flour, the butter sticks to the flour, not to the weighing scale pan. Makes it a lot easier to clean afterwards. Because the flour and the butter are going into the same bowl eventually, you can get away with doing that. You will also need one of these things. It's a mains powered motor with a couple of little blades in it, which performs one of 2 functions. Either it blends soft stuff together into a smooth puree, or it launches little hard things like, dried chickpeas or bits of almond all over the kitchen, bounces them off the walls and makes an incredible racket. One or the other. Oh, in between it has a 3rd function where it sprays droplets of smooth stuff all over the tiles, the work surface, the kitchen, the ceiling, the boilers, your shirt and everything. The trick is to use it on soft stuff, not on dry hard stuff, and keep the bottom well immersed. But it is a whole lot easier to use that than it is to use a food processor with a lid and then clean it, or do it all by hand with a whisk and a knife. So you'll want one of those. Step 1, you'll also need an oven. Ovens are very important. Electric oven, so it can be set all the way down to 60 degrees to melt chocolate and butter without actually burning anything. That is now warmed up. I'm going to use that to melt chocolate and butter in bowl A and chocolate in bowl B as a start. Quantities will be in a recipe in the description. And I think that covers part 1. That is all I have to do for part one, is warm up the oven, put chocolate in bowls and put them in there, chocolate and butter in bowls, and put them in there to melt. Then we can start on other ingredients.